Natural disaster in India. A natural event such as a flood, an earthquake or hurricane that causes great damage or loss of life is called a natural disaster. Let us read about the destructing natural disasters that have occurred in India. Great Bengal Famine, 1770. The Great Bengal Famine of 1770 was a famine between 1769 and 1773 that affected the lower Gangetic plain of India from Bihar to the Bengal region. The famine is estimated to have killed about 10 million people in Bengal. Warren Hastings' 1772 report estimated that a third of the population in the affected region starved to death. Occurring a cyclone, 1839. On the 25th of November 1839, Keringa was slammed by a disastrous cyclone that delivered terrible winds and a giant 12 meters, 40 feet, storm surge. The port was destroyed and 300,000 people were killed. Third Plague Pandemic, 1894. The plague, which was brought from Hong Kong to British India, killed about 10 million in India. It later also killed another 12.5 million in the British colony of India in the next following 30 years. The disease was initially seen in port cities, beginning with Mumbai, but later emerged in Pune and Kolkata. By 1899, the outbreak spread to smaller communities and rural areas in many regions of India. Lahaul Valley Avalanche, 1979. The worst incident of avalanche, snow slip, occurred in the tribal district of Lahaul and Spiti during the winter of 1979. On the 8th of March 1979, about 75 persons were killed in devastating avalanches that occurred in different parts of Lahaul Valley. The destruction continued for many days and as many as 237 people lost their lives in Lahaul Valley. Government of Himachal Pradesh, 2006. Malpa landslide, 1998. The Malpa landslide was one of the worst landslides in India. On the 18th of August 1998 at 3 a.m., massive landslides wiped away the entire village of Malpa in the Pithoragarh district of Uttarakhand, then in Uttar Pradesh in Kali Valley of Hyakumar division of the Himalayas. The rockfall started on the 16th of August, bringing down huge rocks. A total of 221 people died, including 60 Hindu pilgrims traveling to Tibet as part of Kailash Mansaro Yatra. Odisha cyclone, 1999. The 1999 Odisha cyclone was the most intense recorded tropical cyclone in the North Indian Ocean and among the most destructive in the region. The 1999 Odisha cyclone organized into a tropical depression in the Andaman Sea on the 25th of October, though its origins could be traced back to an area of convection in the Sulu Sea 4 days prior. Gujarat earthquake, 2001. When India was celebrating its 52nd Republic Day on the 26th of January 2001, the western part of the country faced one of the worst earthquakes in history. The earthquake, which lasted for over 2 minutes, at 8:46 a.m., killed more than 19,727 and 166,000 were injured. Following the massive 7.9 magnitude quake, more than 500 aftershocks continued to strike different parts of Gujarat till March. Indian heat wave, 2002. More than 1,030 people were killed in the 2002 heat wave in South India. Most of the dead were poor and elderly, and a majority of deaths occurred in the southern state of Andhra Pradesh. In districts that were impacted most, The heat was so severe that ponds and rivers evaporated, and in those same districts birds had fallen from the sky and animals were collapsing from the intense heat. It is said by officials to be the worst heat wave in 4 years. Indian Ocean Tsunami, 2004. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami occurred at 0:58 and 53 seconds UTC on the 26th of December, with an epicenter off the west coast of northern Sumatra, Indonesia. It was an undersea megathrust earthquake that registered a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3 MW. The earthquake was caused by a rupture along the fault between the Burma Plate and the Indian Plate. Bihar flood, 2007. The 2007 Bihar flood, which started in August 2007, was described by the United Nations as the worst flood in the living memory of Bihar. By the 8th of August, the flooding had affected an estimated 10 million people in Bihar. Army helicopters delivered food packets to Bihar residents and 180 relief camps were established. By the 10th of August, aid workers in Bihar reported that there was a dramatic increase of people with diarrhea. Total deaths recorded in 2007 Bihar floods were 1,287, which was second highest death toll in state after 1,399 deaths in 1987 Bihar floods. Eastern Indian Storm, 2010. At approximately 11 p.m. local time, the 13th of April 2010, a severe storm struck parts of Bangladesh and eastern India. It lasted about 90 minutes, with the most intense portion spanning 30 to 40 minutes. At least 91 people died in the Indian state of Bihar, 44 in West Bengal and 4 in Assam. Most of the dead were women and children crushed when their huts were destroyed. Both mud and pucca housing was damaged by the storm. Nearly 500,000 people were left homeless or otherwise affected by the storm. Maharashtra drought, 2013. The 2013 drought in Maharashtra in India came about after the region received lower rainfall during the monsoon season from June to September 2012. It is considered as the region's worst drought in 40 years. The worst hit areas in Maharashtra were Solapur, Parbhani, Ahmednagar, Latur, Pune, Satara, Beed, and Nashik. Residents of Latur, Osmanabad, Nanded, Aurangabad, Jalna, Jalgaon, and Hule districts were also affected by this famine. Uttarakhand flash flood, 2013. In June 2013, a multi-day cloudburst centered on the North Indian state of Uttarakhand caused devastating floods and landslides, becoming the country's worst natural disaster since the 2004 tsunami. The reason the floods occurred was that the rainfall received was on a larger scale than the regular rainfall the state usually received. The debris blocked up the rivers, causing major overflow. The main day of the flood was the 16th of June 2013. Uttarakhand forest fire, 2016. In 2016, fire has been detected at more than 1,200 places. Amara, Shamali, Nainital, Bori, Rudraprayag, Pithoragarh, Tehri, and Uttarkashi have been declared the worst affected areas. In the last 3 months of forest fire, 922 incidents have occurred with 1,890.79 hectares of green cover getting. Kerala floods, 2018. On the 16th of August 2018, severe floods affected the South Indian state Kerala, due to unusually high rainfall during the monsoon season. It was the worst flood in Kerala in nearly a century. All 14 districts of the state were placed on red alert. According to the Kerala government, 1/6 of the total population of Kerala had been directly affected by the floods and related incidents. The Indian government had declared it a level 3 calamity, or calamity of a severe